Hello everybody, this is Brandon Fancher, and we are going to do another demonstration of our Fractally video proof of concept with ranking UI and consensus indicators. The first thing I'm going to show you is how to initiate a new video conferencing room for your group. Now, when I do this, I'm not going to show the URL just in case the URL changes in the future. I don't want people to be confused by that. So when it's time to demonstrate this or to test it out among us, we will give you URLs for that. But I'm going to start here by navigating to that URL. And you'll see login to get started. Now, this is really simple. Again, this is a proof of concept, so we'll be treating it as such. But I'm going to click login here, and we see name. So first and last recommended. Now, this isn't actually going to be verifying anything against the blockchain. If you enter a Hive username, that does exist though with a photo, it will pull in the photo from Hive. So I'm going to come in here and enter and doing it right. I'll click login, and I'm going to allow access to camera and microphone. And now here I am. I am in a brand new room. Now it's time for me to invite others to join. You'll see we've got a countdown timer here. This is hard coded to 45 minutes, so keep that in mind. That may or may not align with the time you need to be concerned about if we're testing this out during the Genesis Fractal process. So I'm simply going to now copy the URL that we have up here. It's appended with a unique identifier for this particular room here. And then I'm going to share that with those who I want to join us. So I've shared that now, and we will wait for our friends to join us.
Howdy, Brandon.
Mike, welcome.
Thank you.
You hail from Texas?
I do.
With your cowboy hat? Oh wow, we've got everybody on here.
All
right. So guys, what I just did is I gave a little bit of an introduction to everybody watching this, showed them how to open up, initiate a new room, and how to join that room and invite others. For us, it's time to come to consensus. So without further ado, Dan, would you introduce everyone to the topic for consensus?
All right, today's topic is each of us is bringing a book, and the goal is to reach consensus on which book has contributed the most value to our lives and the public good. So this should be fun. One of the rules is my book, More Equal Animals, is not in the contender because that would be too obvious. So now it's without further ado, let's get started.
Cool. Before we do get started on this, I just want to talk about the UI just a little bit. So you'll see that we've got two sections for ranking. Right now, everyone is not ranked. Okay, when you join the room, you will not be ranked. Because everyone is not ranked for all of us here, we also see an indication, an emoji right now that says 100. That 100 indicates that we're all in agreement as to the ranking, or in this case, the non-ranking of everyone. We've got consensus right now that nobody is ranked. As you watch us come to consensus, some of us may start dragging around people to start ranking them. What we'll do is we'll grab someone from that bottom section, drop them at the top where it says drop here to rank. Most valued contributions are on the top. And you'll start to see those emoji change as an indicator of the formation of consensus as the call progresses. There are 4 different emoji that you'll want to look out for. 100, as I mentioned, is unanimous consensus. You'll also see a smiley face. The smiley face is consensus. It's not unanimous. and you are part of that consensus. Okay. You'll also see a confused face. A confused face means that there's consensus, but you're not part of that consensus. So you better get in line with the consensus, or get people in line with your opinion, but you're out of alignment with consensus. And finally, there's a shrug emoji. The shrug emoji means there's no consensus on that individual. So if you were to see a shrug emoji next to Dan, what that means is people have Dan in different spots, and not enough people have Dan in the same level to reach consensus. All right, let's get started. Dan, why don't you kick us off? What book will you be representing today?
Oh, what book will I be representing? I put a lot of thought into the most strategic way to present a book here, because I really value getting a high ranking in this call. So I'm going to pull out all the stops, and I'm going to leverage some insight from Jordan Peterson, which basically says that the Bible is the foundation of all other literature in Western civilization. It's the common themes and narrative that a lot of people have, whether or not you believe it's true or you're religious in any sense. It's incorporated and referenced by more books than anything else. So I could not think of a book that has had a more profound impact on our culture and all other books in existence than the Bible. And who wants to vote against God? So I figure I've got a pretty good chance at getting top rank, but we'll see how it goes.
Wow.
Very shrewd. Wow. Yes. Okay, thank you, Dan. Who's next?
I'll go next.
All right.
And James.
All right, I had a book, and I just changed it after hearing Dan's.
That's cheating.
So in real time, I'm gonna do "On the Origin of Species" by Charles Darwin. And I think this book also had a magnificent impact on society. It kind of moved us out of the era of thinking that, we were created at some point magically at one time, and we have now a rational basis for understanding the diversity of life on Earth.
Wow.
Right.
Very interesting.
Yes. I'll kick it off over to Thomas.
All right. Well, clearly, we're looking too far into the past. I think we need to be a bit more futuristic and think about the future. And I'm advocating for Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged because it is the Bible of objectivism and has led to rational thought, which you can't really assign to the Bible and maybe Darwin too. So I'm advocating for thinking in a modern way and challenging your perception on what a public good truly is.
All right. Who do you nominate next?
I would like to nominate Brandon to go next.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know how I'm going to follow those, but the book I will be presenting here is, and I've printed it out because I can't find my print, my copy of the book right now. It's packed away somewhere, but it's The Law by Frederick Bastiat. And I have to say that this book made it so crystal clear for me what the scope of the law and government should be, how that scope tends to expand oftentimes because people mean well, but they also act from a place of pride and haughtiness, thinking they know better for everyone, and how the scope of government should be in establishing and maintaining justice. Anytime government acts outside of that scope, they are de facto, they are creating injustice. And we see that's ever more relevant in the world that we live in. You subsidize something to help the farmers, and it hurts other farmers or hurts other people, or there's always pick and choose. So this says, in response to the oppressive and overreaching tactics of the elite-dominated French government of the mid-1800s, Frederick Bastiat's The Law attacks the vicious cycle of socialism perpetuated by powerful leaders and a society dependent on government-provided goods and services. A frighteningly similar relationship to today's imbalance between citizens and government. And I'll let you guys read the summary. But The Law, Frederick Bastiat, 1800, amazing book. With that, I will hand it to Mike.
Wow, I had no idea how fierce the competition would be. So I have one of the books that has really shaped my life, Mastering Ethereum. I think this is. No. I unfortunately have to follow Thomas here. I have La Rebellion de Atlas. Highly influential in my life. It is one of the books that opened my eyes and got me outside the box and validated a lot of my thinking about the world. And it's great Spanish practice in this forum. And my copy is a gift that came directly from Colombia, so it's a whole combo of awesomeness. People who hate this book haven't read it. Every time I've asked, except one. So if you hate this book, I suggest you read it. And if you haven't read it, this might be the book that changed your life. So,
All right.
Gregory.
Thank you. Well, since our last meeting, you had judged my background and attire, and here I think I'm dressed more appropriately. My best book, well, who else than none other than William Shakespeare. Yes, William Shakespeare, and his play As You Like It, one of his finest comedies. And there's something for everyone: villainy, romance, humor, and happy ending, as well as a book that is steeped in freedom. Freedom! Oh, sorry, wrong era. I'm sure William would frown upon that, but well, let's see here. Let's see if I can get him frowning. Here we go. Yes, he's frowning now. All right. Well, so the play takes place in the 1500s. It's a very pastoral and comedic play of the Renaissance era. There are two settings, two locations. One is the French royal court with Duke Frederick, and the other is the Forest of Arden. And Arden is the place where the characters flee, and it symbolizes country life and escape from injustice and the corruption of the city, where the Duke and his centralized governance model is represented of a corrupt life within the city. Take this to heart, my friends, the best book by the Bard.
Amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough.
This
So,
is zero consensus.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's go ahead and rank them, and we see how much consensus we get by default here.
And Mike, what's your book called in English?
It's Atlas Shrugged.
Oh,
Same-
so is same
same
book as Thomas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we got Darwin, Brandon's The Law, and then Atlas Shrugged, and then Shakespeare.
Look, I'm partial to the Bible, so I did rank so far Dan highest.
I think it's probably really difficult to argue against the Bible as the thing that has the most impact culturally. So I would agree with that.
I see we have consensus forming around Dan for that top spot. It's not unanimous, though. Very interesting.
No one can argue against the good book.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, 100%.
All right.
I have a feeling this next slot is going to be a little bit more difficult.
There's
Oh,
Darwin, 2 Atlas Shrugs, How are we going to distinguish between them, I wonder?
I went ahead and thought that even though I haven't read the law, I think that it's probably more practical than Atlas Shrugged in terms of getting thinking. Just from your description, Brandon, you really sold it to me. So if it had that impact on you, I think it's a slightly shorter read. Atlas Shrugged is really thick, and it's probably more enjoyable than Shakespeare. Shakespeare can be really hard to read, and Darwin was just, I don't know, seems a little not very entertaining or enjoyable to read. So
You can sit down and in a few hours read this book. It's a short.
Only in this crowd. Only in this crowd would we say the law is more enjoyable than to read than Shakespeare.
Be able to understand it. I don't know. Shakespeare is old.
So I just want to read, as Bastiat explains, it is simply the act of living rather than submission to government, which guarantees an individual the natural rights to life, liberty, and property.
How can you argue with that?
Life, liberty, and property. That's what we're about, people.
Yeah, but he's French, though. Come on. I mean...
So when it comes to Atlas Shrugged, I put that one next just because I think the objective viewpoint is interesting. I don't think it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but the thought exercises and the perspective that it added is quite interesting. So, but you've got two Atlas Shrugged, and I went ahead and put Mike's on top just because he actually had the book. Thomas, I'm sorry, you just showed me a picture of the book, and so I'm gonna have to go with Mike on breaking the tiebreaker on Atlas Shrugged.
Well, this is ridiculous. We were going with books that were written in Hebrew, French, and Spanish first. I'm getting there's discrimination against my mother tongue, and I'm gonna advocate for, I do have the book, but not with me. And, but I can appreciate a dislike for your mother tongue, and if that's the way we're gonna go, then let's go that way.
Oh. Yeah, how many people here have a copy of Atlas Shrugged in English?
Who is this?
Oh, wow.
Why is he shrugging?
We can go with Spanish.
I named
We can
my
go
son
Spanish
Atlas,
first.
so that counts for something.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like just by a poll that Thomas's book is more distributed among this group, but we've already kind of reached 100% consensus on Mike. So now it's just a question of, do we switch to something else altogether? Yeah, I think the content is what we're judging things on. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So now it's between Shakespeare and Darwin.
Wow.
And we still don't have consensus, or maybe I'm just the one that's out of consensus and you guys have all reached consensus. Now there's consensus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see it unanimous, but I do see consensus. So
I gotta say, I've never read The Origin of Species, but it seems unapproachable. But I don't know.
There's no doubt that it's
unapproachable as in untouchable, or unapproachable as in it's too hard to read.
Seems like it would be slogging through it. Like
I don't know.
Adam Smith, I found very hard to read.
Darwin was a pretty good writer.
Yeah?
Yeah, there's some illustrations in there.
Yeah, Shakespeare had a pretty big impact on society too.
Yeah,
true.
So
yeah.
I think Shakespeare sold more copies. I think more people have read Shakespeare than Darwin, even though Darwin is the basis of a whole lot of stuff. But I think Darwin's theories were misrepresented largely. So was it really Darwin that had the impact, or the people that were misrepresenting his stance on life and things?
I would say it was a new era of science post the co-discovery of evolution via natural selection.
The moral values of life, right here in black and white, in all sorts of plays for all of us to enjoy.
I gotta say, if we're gonna put the Bible first, I really feel like Shakespeare's gotta be not last. Like that just feels like a tragedy, no pun intended, to make that last.
All right. Well, we have consensus,
Yeah.
but somebody is not in. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Nice.
Oh, someone's messing with us now. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show off the submit rank process here. So again, we're not integrated with the blockchain directly. So whenever I push this submit rank order consensus, it's simply going to take the order that I have here and give me, as you can see, here's the order. Give me just a nice string of hive names. I can copy those and paste those into the week's hive post, just making it a little bit easier on everybody. So I'll close that for now. Any final words?
No, I think
I wish I brought the Anti-Federalist Papers with me.
I was thinking of Wealth of a Nation.
well, you want the Federalist Papers.
I want the Anti-Federalist Papers.
Anti-Federalist Papers. Well, I've got them all, including the Constitution right here.
Nice.
Nice.
We should have a competition to see who can bring those books.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop this recording, guys. So say goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Later.